This segment is sponsored by Dennis Goins of DennisGoins.com. Today I'm talking with financial advisor Dennis Goins of Dennis Goins and Associates. And Dennis, how you doing today?
Good morning, Charmaine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really glad that we're going to be talking about this topic, Dennis, because many marriages take place, as we know, over the weekends and even sometimes during the week. And next month, in the month of February, we will see more than usual because of Valentine's Day. And there is one area in the marriage that couples must agree on, and it is the all-important area of money. As we know, money, cash, and moolah. And the question is, who controls it? And I'm glad you're here today to talk about who controls the cash.
That's right. Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective, Charmaine. Once upon a time, way back when, the husband used to go out and work and bring home the bacon, and he would give the wife an allowance to pay for the groceries and some of the household expenditures. Needless to say, in present day America, that is definitely not the case. Women now are really advancing in America, their own business, and they're making their own money. So the dynamics of who controls the cash now has drastically changed. Matter of fact, in half of the average households in America, the woman makes at least 50% of the family income. Matter of fact, 25% of the household, the women make more money than the husband. So obviously that creates a dynamic of who controls the cash, the men or the women. So as you can see, that creates a significant dynamic. There was a study by Money Magazine back last year that talked about that. As far as a high-earning spouse, in both cases, whether it be the man or the woman, usually controls the cash. But where women control the cash, they like to consider the input from their husbands. The husbands, on the other hand, where they control the cash, they kind of go their own way, and they don't necessarily get the advice from their spouse. So as you know, that could present a problem, don't you think?
Oh, I do. I think that's a major problem because you also talk about fiscal fights. Let's talk about that. Can you explain what fiscal fights are?
Fiscal fights. Fiscal fights is money. I mean, the study talked about 7 out of 10 couples have problems about money more than any other issue. I mean, we're talking about fidelity and anything else. Money is the number one problem as far as marriages, as far as creating issues and breakups. And it talked about some of the key issues of those fights. The first one was frivolous spending, frivolous purchasing. This going out buying cars and Kings tickets, Warriors tickets, new bags, the coach bag, the coach shoes. That created a lot of problems. Household budgeting, not having a budget, that was the second most that caused a lot of fights. And of course, credit card debt. Credit card debt, as we know, you charge now, pay later, that created a lot of fights. And of course, insufficient rainy day or emergency funds was a significant part. So you see that these are the issues that causes problems in 7 out of 10 marriages in the United States. And one of the things that was very interesting in the study is there's a stereotype that most men feel threatened by professional and upward mobile women that make more money than them. But the studies show that these men are cool with it. They're happy. Well, the woman makes more money, the man is happy. The woman, on the other hand, that makes more money than the men, they're not so happy. Why? Because they have to balance the traditional women's role and also have that financial burden. So that creates a lot of stress from the women who make more money than men into the relationship. So I thought that was very interesting in doing that. But the key point is clear communication. Communication is quite important where these situations are. You have to have a team. You have to have a teamwork, irrespective of who makes the money, to creating some sense of balance as far as avoiding these fiscal fights. And it talks about some of the ways to get around that. One of the first things you can do is create a budget. I mean, a lack of planning is a plan that fails. So you create a budget, writing down all your expenses you have. You know, you got to know what you're spending on food. You got to know what you're spending on entertainment. And entertainment's important, but you got to be able to categorize that and put that down. I find in my practice that one of the first things that I require is people come in and at least tell me where they are. I mean, I can't help them if I don't know where they are. And if they don't know where they are, then we really have a problem. But you got to create a budget to do that. You got to be able to prioritize the discretionary spending. Discretionary spending means after you pay your rent, your mortgage, and the food, what do you do to have fun from a discretionary standpoint? You got to prioritize that. If the woman wants to go on the wife wants to go on a vacation to Paris, and the guy wants to buy a BMW or Mercedes, then you got to sit down and compromise on where's the money going to, this extra discretionary money is going to go. You got to develop that and do that.
No, I feel good. Everything you're saying is so true because, you know, I've been married this year, it'd be 17 years, and you have to be able to sit down and create a budget because I know, you know, you and I, we've talked before. I wasn't one about creating a budget. I just like to spend. And then before you know, you look at your bank account and you're in the red, you bouncing checks. I'm just going to be real. And I remember when I married my husband, because he made more money than I did, you know, of course, in the marriage, but I didn't want him to control the money. I wanted to have my own bank account. You have your own bank account. I don't want you to tell me what to do with my money. Well, of course, he was in the black and I ended up being in the red. And so finally I had to give in to say to him, okay, all right, we're going to combine our bank accounts and really just knowing where your strengths are. See, my area of weakness is the finances. See, I have you poor, broke, busted, and disgusted. So, you know, I'm the spender in the relationship and my husband is the saver. And I believe in almost every relationship you have, you know, that kind of balance, but you just have to know what your strengths are. And that area is just not my strength. And I think that's what helped us in that area, you know, of him controlling that area because it helps me. You know, so I'm that wife that I don't mind now because I was that lady that I would go to the store. As I told you before, I would go to the store and I would purchase all kind of items from the store and then hide them in my trunk. And then when he jumped in the shower, I'm running out in my pajamas to bring him in and throw him in my closet just so I could say, I had this all along. I've had this a long time, but it's been in my trunk. So that I stopped that. So that kind of helped us as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously your husband's a smart man because I learned a long time ago a happy wife makes a happy life. But the key point, and it's very important, you have a sense of balance. I mean, you would have an issue if both of you guys were spenders, and there was no one that basically focused on the frugality of saving. So it's important to have a team and a balance. And we talk about you need to focus on some of the priorities as far as the expenses, the rent, the groceries, the utilities, but you should have some freedom. And what the study suggested is have two accounts. Set up a main account, which is just for the primary expenses, the rent, the mortgage, the groceries, etc. And then have what we call a play account, a discretionary account. And you put money there and you kind of spread that out and use that to buy the shoes, to spend for the bag, to go to the Kings game, to go to the Warriors game. And that's your budget for discretion. So a lot of couples, when you put it in one pot and one fund, next thing you know, you spent your mortgage and rent money going to Tahoe. And that becomes a friction because that creates pressure within the relationship. So you got to allow some freedom also and set up that separate account to do that. Now, the study showed that even though you have that separate account, strange to say, men spent 4 times as much as the women in that discretionary account. So it's interesting to say you were kind of different. You spent more than your husband, but on the average, when you set up a discretionary free account, men spend more than women. And I found that to be very interesting. But the key point is recognize your individual strengths. It's really not her money and his money. It's our money. And when you look at it that way, it's a team approach. That seems to be working significantly to be successful because it's a team effort. And when you basically work on that together, you're going to get more out of your bacon no matter who brings it home.
That's a good way to put it, Dennis. That was great. So, Dennis, if people wanted to find you on social media, can you give us some of your social media sites?
Yeah, I have a couple of social media sites. You can link with me on LinkedIn, Dennis Goins and Associates on LinkedIn, and I have a Facebook page, Dennis Goins and Associates. And my website is www.dennis, D-E-N-N-I-S, and my last name, Goins.com. And a lot of clients and a lot of individuals tap into those resources because each day I send different concepts about investments and finances, and it's proven to be quite rewarding for a lot of people that tap into that social media site.
Well, Dennis,
we consider ourselves a source, a resource for information, and that's really what it's about in the day. Everything is constantly changing.
Well, I was going to say, Dennis, thank you so much. You have given us some great information today. And I look forward to talking with you also on next week, because I know we have another great topic on next week, keeping score for your credit. So we're going to be talking about that next week. So we want to let everybody know, make sure you tune in to check out, how do you keep score for your credit? How important is credit? So we're going to find out next week when we talk to Dennis Goins. Thank you so much, Dennis. Look forward to talking with you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about financial investments, contact Dennis Goins at dennisgoins.com.